And like, who do you want to be as a person?
Me. Whatever that looks like. I don't know what that looks like, what that entails, but I will be the sexiest man alive.
Get on my motherfucking face. Please.
Push the goddamn button. Action.
Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of the Grae Area podcast.
Grae. Ooh. Yeah.
I am Shakoya D.
Being brief.
It's your boy Damani.
And if this is your first time here, this is a podcast about whatever we feel like talking about. It could be love, it could be life, it could be music, it could be anything or nothing at all. We have interesting conversations and we just wanted to bring you guys in on those. If you haven't already, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Tell a friend and tell a friend and tell a friend and tell a friend. Also, if you want to watch this Patreon. If you want to watch this podcast
Every time pass.
live, we do record them live.
Authenticity.
Also, if you want to watch this podcast live, we do record our podcast live weekly, and we do record them at least 1 to 2 months in advance before releasing them. You can join our Patreon if you want to talk to us during our podcast. If you want to ask questions, sway the conversation, join our podcast for the low.
Join our Patreon for the low price of 3 of them things. That's $3. $1 for you, $1 for you, $1 for me. And again, don't forget to push that bell, like, subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend. Stop playing with that, man.
And by you joining our Patreon, it helps us to create higher quality content more frequently. And yeah, that's all I got. I don't know what's happening with my brain right now.
Smoothie. Brain freeze.
Or where my thoughts are going for real, but I'm gonna do better today. So today I do not have an accent.
I have the accent. I don't know where I'm from to say on this day, but my accent is here.
So Breeze has an accent. He's also whispering his accent, so hopefully you guys can hear him. But I completely forgot what I was gonna say. How are you guys?
I am fantastic.
Yeah. Why does he whisper?
You sound hoarse.
I am fantastic.
You sound hoarse.
And African.
Yeah.
We're watched.
Yeah, I don't know if they would
watched.
I don't know how they would feel about your accent. I think it needs a little work. You gotta do the whole episode with it. That's how you get your practicing.
Okay.
Cause my London accent was terrible.
Terrible. First I have to figure out where I'm from.
Oh yeah. Pick a country and then
Give me a country.
Tanzania.
Jesus Christ.
I think that was Jamaican. Oh man, that is funny.
Hope everything's okay outside.
Word, cause a lot of sirens happening right now. How are you?
I'm doing swell. My eyes bother me a little bit, but I'm good.
That's good to hear. Me, myself, glad you guys asked. I'm feeling better than yesterday. My allergies were allergizing and yeah, it was terrible. I have severe allergies, so that's what they say. Are they? I think they're severe.
When you just be hating.
I mean, yes. But it's so much pollen out here. Like, it's a lot of pollen out here. The fact that I cannot really drive with the windows down for real without having a mask on is a lot. It's ridiculous. And I think it's also because our cars are parked under trees. So it's like it's already pollen on the car. So
even if it wasn't under a tree, it would be pollen on your car.
But not as much. You're right. When I was working,
just be in the air.
When I was working in Duluth, I used to come out from work. There was no trees like directly near my car, and my car used to be just yellow. Yeah, it was wild time.
Crikeys, mate.
But I am feeling better than yesterday, so which is great. I'm not 100% yet. Have sneezed a couple times, but I'm a lot better. A lot better. So yeah. What are we talking about today, y'all?
Since it was your idea, you wanna do the honors?
I thought we was gonna go with his topic first.
I thought it was going with his, and then if it's sprinkled over.
Mine was hers.
Well, yeah. What's
All right.
yours? Pardon me.
Okay. I have a question. What do you guys want to be when you grow up? Or who do you want to be when you grow up?
I want to be the same thing I wanted to be when I was little.
What's that? An NBA player?
Before that, before I was introduced to basketball.
What you want to do before that?
Artist.
Oh. Duh. I was really like, what did you want to do before basketball? I never knew this. Oh, that makes so much sense.
I'm an artist, just drawing and painting and music. So that's what I'm working towards now.
And like, who do you want to be as a person?
Me. Whatever that looks like. I don't know what that looks like, what that entails, but I will be the sexiest man alive. Let's pod, man. Let's pod.
That's hilarious. That's hilarious.
How about you?
How about me? Some similar thing. I mean,
Sexiest man
not.
alive?
Well, I mean, I was gonna get that regardless, but it's gonna be different years. But they rotate. But
I'll take the I, I'll take the E.
But yeah, I would want to be the same person. Not the same person, but the person who I've been aiming towards since I was a kid, which is artist, creative, living superhero, all that good stuff. Shaking the room.
Yeah.
My bad. Yeah, artist, creative, living superhero, all that good stuff.
Living superhero.
Yeah, minus the like.
Vigilante
Yeah,
part?
vigilante. I don't want to be a vigilante.
So,
it's dangerous.
So what is the so explain being a living superhero minus the vigilante. What does that look like?
You know, just do the good deeds, speak to the people, help myself. Is it really bothering you?
The sound.
It's not even that loud. You can't even hear it, can you?
Yes.
It's not that loud. You're not even going to be able to hear it in the playback.
After she edits this out.
Not even gonna be able to hear.
Alright.
Yeah, that's all I got right now. What about you?
I feel like I asked the question and I did not think about the answer.
I can tell.
What you mean you can tell?
Just a feeling.
Okay. Me. I guess same thing, like I want to be I don't know who I always wanted to be as a child. I think I'm becoming that person. But so like you guys said, artist, creative. I think the creative, not the creative part, but like the other aspects of being creative outside of music are like something that's newer to me. But I guess it's not. It's just stuff that I was doing. I just didn't consider it. Anyways, so for me, I guess I want to be, I want to be a millionaire, so freaking bad. Buy all of the things I never had. No? Okay. So I want to be, so yeah. Music superstar, so musician, artist, songwriter, just the most amazing version of myself.
I was thinking, I want to be more than what I wanted to be. Greater. I don't just want to be artist.
Mm-hmm. I feel like
Timothy.
I feel like I was writing about this morning a little bit, and I was just like, I imagine my life so much differently at this age. So like now looking at what I've done and all of that stuff and where I'm at now, like I still want the same things at the core, but it's just I'm doing so much more now. Like I feel like, so let me ask you guys this question. Do you feel like your younger self would be proud of you? Did we ask this already?
I think so, in a way, but it wasn't this exact way. Definitely wasn't this topic, but it was along this line. So would Lil Breeze be proud of Big Breeze?
Lil Breezy Benji be proud?
Essentially, yeah.
Yeah. What about you?
Yeah, I think young me.
Lil Vision.
I knew you were gonna do it. I was waiting for it.
We got Breezy Benji and Lil Vision.
Yeah, I think they would be fine. I think they would be like, they would be kind of shocked about the age.
Yeah.
Like they'd be like 20. What? Whoa.
I wrote about that earlier too.
But outside of the age, I think they would be like, oh wow, you doing stuff that I didn't think I could actually do, or maybe I thought I could do. So like, you better be doing it. I thought you was gonna be doing more. You know.
Yeah.
But that's gonna be proud.
I think I was gonna say it, but I wouldn't want to call my little self it. I think I would be proud.
I was like, it's a quick fix for you. It's quick.
I think I would be proud that I'm actually doing the things. I feel like it'll be like a disappointment that it took so long for me to actually do the things, but it was a lot of remembering that it was a lot of remembering that had to happen in order for me to actually be able to do the thing. Well, remembering and letting go in order for me to be in the space to actually do the thing and learning.
Smart. So do you feel like?
Did you answer?
No. I think that.
She was trying to skate.
I'm trying to hold on to my question while I got it. Okay. So I think my younger self will be very proud of me. Same thing about the age, but I think that this was time that I needed, like you said, to grow, but also to realize like when we graduated from college, we were just bigger kids. Like we weren't adults yet.
Now we bigger
kids, but like we're more so adults now. Like versus like when we were younger, like we thinking, okay, I graduated from college, I'm an adult, the adult world is da 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 da. But so I think my younger self will be very proud of who I am in this moment and the things I'm doing, because like I'm making beats and like I never wanted to do that. Like I just wanted to write my songs, and well, I guess I did want to do it, but not in the way that I'm doing it. If that makes sense. So yeah, long story short, I think that my younger self will be very proud of who I am. And in order for me not to forget my question, let me ask y'all this. Do you think that because you've done so much work, so much letting go, so much growing to get to this point, that it will be easier now to get to who you want to be when you grow up?
I wouldn't say easier, because every time there's a test and we don't pass the test, the next test is slightly harder, or it's like I feel like it might be a little more obstacles or different things in a way than the last test. So if we kept failing the same test, the next test might not. Well, actually, it might be easier because let me recant that statement. It's going to be easier because now I'm actually operating in my gifts, so the opportunities are just abundant.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not operating out of desperation. I'm operating out of my gifts,
Mm-hmm.
and my gifts are making room for me, which allows me to have a plethora of opportunities and options to choose from.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like that. I like that.
Word. What was the question one more time? Sorry, he was going. I missed where we started. I just wanted to make sure I'm in the
Okay.
same ballpark because I was about to go to the other ballpark.
All right. Before we do, I think we should just wait for the
Oh
time
yeah, I just
because
wanted to make sure he was going, and I was like, My mind said, "Where we at? We playing baseball, right? Basketball, okay, basketball."
Lord have mercy. So the question was,
Mm.
now that you have done all of the work that you've done to get here to this point.
What's up? Word.
Sorry my smoothie. Now that you worked here to get to this point, you've done all of the unlearning, the work, the growing, and stuff like that. Do you feel like it'll be easier to get to who you want to be when you grow up?
I think I am already the person that I wanted to be when I grew up. I just didn't realize I was it. So like, I guess everything going forward, like the unlearning was just me. Like the unlearning is me. It's just me remembering to kind of get back to center. And I think going forward, I can't say it'll be easy. I just think I won't face the same challenges anymore. Like I think now that we've beat this version of the game, it's a different game. Cause it's like before it was like you're on the same level and you're like, why am I not passing level? Right? I'm doing the thing, and it wasn't until you had a mindset shift where it's like, cool, now like this is done. I think the next levels aren't necessarily gonna be harder, just different. I think it'll be like different challenges, different things. Cause again, almost lost it. Cool. I think yeah. This portion of it was like, all right, again, like unlearning past stuff, like figuring out, getting back to how I was when I was younger, and then I think the next stage is like, how would I operate if I didn't learn all of the stuff in between, like this, like the all that stuff. So it's like if I'm restarting now, it's like if I'm restarting, how would I have operated? What would I have encountered there? And it's like, how would this version of me operate? Like, how would the original version of me operate had I not, went through imposter syndrome and went through whatever it is. So I think going forward, will it be easier? I just think it'll be different. I just don't think we'll be encountering the same challenges anymore. Like the same stuff. I don't think that's gonna be the challenge. I think the challenge is just gonna be other stuff. Like it's like, dang, like I feel like it's not enough time in the day, or maybe it is enough time in the day. It's like, I got so much stuff that I'm doing. How can I fit this into? Or maybe it's not that, or maybe it's just like the challenge of like balancing all of your ideas, balancing your actual like the success, whatever it is. I think that might be the new challenge as opposed to like the challenge of how do I get there? How do I get there?
Yeah.
So
I feel like the biggest challenges will probably be not knowing what's next. Like, we can prepare as much as we want, but until we get there, you're not gonna know if we really prepared or not. But if we're there, we belong there. So of course we're prepared enough to do what we gotta do. But mindset shift. It's all the mental thing.
So, you guys kind of said similar things and different things at the same time. You mentioned earlier, Breeze, about you had a lot of remembering to do to get to this point, and you mentioned that you feel like you're already the person that you always wanted to be. You just didn't know that you were always the person that you always wanted to be. And I agree with that. And I feel like life is just us remembering who we are. But I also feel like it is I guess because we have to remember it, it feels like a distant thing at times.
Mm-hmm.
It feels like, I don't know, the growing that you're doing is growing closer to yourself. But me personally, sorry. Woo, sorry. Me personally, I feel like it will in some ways be easier. Not to say that it won't be hard at all or the new challenges. I mean, there'll be new challenges, but I feel like it will be easier just because now in a space that I'm in, it's like I'm more willing to use the resources that I have and to think of the resources that I have and to be comfortable in the rooms that I'm in. Even to just be able to remind myself that I belong here gets me closer to the person that I am. Like, I guess my highest self. I guess that's what we're working toward. Is to be our highest self, our truest self, I should say. So I feel like it would be a little bit easier. Because my biggest obstacle in the past has been me and my thought processes and me doubting myself. It hasn't been outside things. This my biggest obstacle has literally been me. Whether it's me processing what somebody else said to me, or me remembering or seeing something and internalizing it and it affected me in a way that I don't even realize. It was still me that was getting in my own way of remembering, of becoming, of being. So I think that it will be easier. Yeah, because I'm like you said, you operate in your gifts. You're not operating from desperation. Like, you're operating in who you are. And I think once you figure out how to operate in as yourself, like constantly just and be confident in you operating as yourself, whatever that looks like, whatever that journey looks like, I feel like it makes things easier.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah.
I was gonna say two things. You said life is remembering. I do like that, but I feel like life is remembering until we remember, and then once we remember, now we could move accordingly.
So then my question is, like, at what point do you know that you remember? Like, fully remember?
I feel like it's a feeling thing, and then you also said it's you feel like it's gonna be easy, and I feel like the feeling of easiness will come because of fulfillment. So like I enjoy doing this. This is as much as I'm pouring into whatever it is I'm doing, is also pouring back into me.
Mm-hmm.
So now my cup is never full. Mind you, I'm probably working twice as hard or doing twice as many things, tasks, but my cup isn't empty. Like it's not draining me at all. I might be tired, I might need a nap, but it's not draining me. Like I enjoy this. So it's essentially it's easier. It feels easier, but the effort that we're putting in is a lot more. Probably because we care.
But I feel like that effort. So, like, I feel like a lot of times we equate effort to. I mean, we do equate effort to energy, right? So like I'm putting more energy into this thing, or maybe I am putting more effort, but I might not be putting as much of my energy into it. My energy isn't completely being drained by it, versus like you were saying, it's pouring back into me. So I'm actually being refueled by this thing. Or even like the challenges, I'm agreeing with you. The challenges, they might be more enjoyable.
I don't argue, sweetheart.
I didn't want there to be no confusion. Nah, but the challenges, they might even be enjoyable at that point. Like, because, like you were saying, you're doing something that you love. So it's like, okay, if you're operating from a place of, like, this is something that I love to do, like, yeah, this is a little difficult right now, but it's keeping me here. Like, it's keeping my interest. It's like, oh, I didn't even know this was a thing. Like, I'm more interested in figuring out how to make this work, or why is this not working, or like just figuring out how do we bring this into fruition, whatever that looks like.
That's why I was saying I don't think like ease is the right word for at least for me. I don't think it's like it's gonna be easier. It's just gonna be different because again, it's like the whole it was always me against the world thing. Then I found out it was me versus me kind of thing. Like initially, it's almost like if initially every time you were trying to fight like or try to attack a task, it's like you're fighting yourself and you're trying to fight the opponent at the same time. So like for every punch you're throwing, like you're hitting yourself, and it's like now that you're not beating yourself up, like the challenge is only in front of you per se, but it's not the same challenge. Like it's like great, and it might be easier, and it might be, and sometimes it might be like wow, this is how I imagine it is like now I'm operating as if like how would it look if I only operated in my gifts? And it's like, what challenges come with only operating in your gift? I don't know what those challenges are because again, until now, I've only like I haven't always only operated in my gift. So now that I'm only operating in my gift, what comes with that? What comes with that? And not saying it's gonna be super challenging or whatever, but what comes with that? I don't know what comes with that, which is what you were talking about. Like it's like the not knowing. And it's like it may be there's other things I think you deal with just from how other people will describe it. But there's other things that you deal with that I don't think are necessarily harder, but I also don't think it's easy. I just think it's different. It's like going into like one was algebra and one was geometry. It's like it's all math, but it's like it's two totally different kind of problems or two totally different kind of like situations. And some people may be better at algebra, some people may be better at geometry. You know, so it's like just figuring out where you operate best, and it's like then these are the kind of challenges or whatever that we flourish in.
And I think that's why I chose the word. That's why I said it would be easier. But I guess easier isn't the right description of it. But I don't know what other word could possibly be used. But because maybe it would be more enjoyable. Like even throughout the journey, whatever challenges or whatever difficulties, whatever we're learning along the way, because essentially everything is just a lesson as we're going through. Like whatever we're learning as we are going through is more enjoyable. It doesn't feel like you're sitting through pre-calculus when you ask, could you be in algebra? Like it doesn't feel like you're being forced to take statistics when you just wanted to be an English major, like type of thing. Like it feels like, okay, even though, like you were saying, I'm tired, even though, I want to go sit down, I want to relax, blah, 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 I'm going to finish this because I'm enjoying what I'm doing. And then I'm going to take my break. But it's still just like, it's just different.
And even with that, I feel like you could say, okay, I'm tired. Let me take a break real quick. You're not beating yourself up because you've got so much done. Like, even if you spend an hour doing something that you enjoy, once you stop, you feel like revived. Like it's okay. Okay, I did what I had to do. I can always come back later today after I'm rested or after I clear my mind or whatever and come back. But I feel like it's a completely different experience. Damani has said something about, what was the last thing you were saying? Battling yourself.
Yeah, it's like fighting yourself and fighting
I was saying, he said something about, I don't know what he said, but then I started thinking about chess. So basically the problems are different. That's what you was talking about. The problems, you never devoted all of your energy to operating as if you were, operating in your gifts. So now the problems are different. So, and I'm looking at it as like it's chess. When you playing chess, essentially you playing yourself because you are thinking about a couple moves ahead that the next person doing. So basically you're playing by yourself, and it's like, okay, so if I was on that side, what would I do? So it's more of a mental thing now. Like now I'm not just working, complaining about, oh, I can't wait until or if I once this happens, now it's like, okay, I'm here now. So what are we doing?
Yeah.
Like me doing the work 9 times out of 10, it's always gonna be stuff we don't want to do, like here and there. But 9 times out of 10, I'm gonna say 8 times out of 10, I'm gonna enjoy the work, or I know it's for something bigger than just this little task.
Yeah, like you'll be willing to do the work
do this
regardless.
because it's for this and that. So it's more mental. So I'm not tiring myself out because I gotta work, I gotta write, I gotta record. It's more of a what's next, and in order to effectively know what's next or conquer whatever is next, we have to know ourselves, because we all doing music, but we all have different strengths. So if you made it to the next level already, I can ask you for assistance, but everything that you did will only get me to where you are.
Mm.
You are there because you're supposed to be there. I'm not there because I'm supposed to be somewhere else. I mean, I could use I could listen to you, take what applies, and use it for me. Or same with you, I can listen to you, take what applies, and then use it for me to get to where I'm going. But essentially, I have to know what I am. What am I missing? Or what do I need to do? Or me as a person, like, know my strengths. Mm-hmm. How can I make this the easiest transition from here to what's next? That's what I'm trying to say.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think, slightly going back to the chess example, because I like that, it is you playing yourself, but then I think once you get out of you battling yourself, right? Now it's like, what is it like you operating with your gift in competition or in conjunction with somebody else operating with their gift? Because it's like, before it was like I'm playing, and it's like I'm not even acknowledging that there's another person on the other end of this, right? I'm not even acknowledging. Maybe you're not like, you're seeing what you would do, but it's like, all right, cool, I know what I would do. I didn't now that I know what I would do, what would I do if I wasn't me? And it's like, okay, now you can almost, because you know yourself, you can kind of step outside yourself, and now you, like, again, forcing you to know yourself more, which is still the same. I think the same idea that we're talking about, but just like the more you operate in your gift, you get a chance to meet other people who are operating in their gift, and it's like they end up being a mirror, but they also end up showing you stuff about yourself, about people that you weren't able to see had you not started playing.
Yeah, and about the game in general. Mm-hmm. Because everybody look at stuff from a different lens, different angle. So they might do stuff, and it might make the process way easier. Mm-hmm. And it's like, oh wow, I never thought to do it like this. And then you might do something completely different, and it was like, oh, that's all you do? Mm-hmm. That's fire. Like, and then at this point now, we helping each other out.
Yeah, and I think it's cool because, like, as you go, like, we all I think we all needed the transitional period of unlearning to relearn, only because now when you go out into the world and do whatever you're trying to do, you're like, what you have now that you didn't have before is perspective, right? Because you have the perspective of everything that you've went through to get here. So when you're like speaking to the world from whatever medium you're creating from, you're working from, whatever it is, like, it's unique because you were like, hey, it's like we're all watching the game in the crowd, and it's like, all right, I saw it from this angle, and you're like, hey, I saw it from here. It was like, he did this with the ball, he kicked it this way, and it was like, he was like, nah, but actually from here it actually looked like this. And it's like, now we have a way broader picture, because before we only had our seat. And I think that's why it's like, it's super important to operate in your gift, because then, like, you're giving the world a view of, like, your seat in life. But when you hear other people doing it, you get a chance to see what their seat is like. It's like, oh snap, that seat is kind of like, all right, you're kind of seeing what I'm seeing, or you're seeing something totally different. And I would have never saw that had you not mentioned that this is what you do and this is how you do it. So I think it's just super important, I think, to operate in your gift so that the world gets a better picture of what we're actually what we're actually playing, what we're actually doing.
Authentically operate in your gift.
Yeah, and I think that just goes back to knowing your true self, like knowing who you are. Like, because I can't fully operate in my gift if I don't even, like, you got to know yourself to know what your gifts are so that you could tap in with yourself. And even just seeing how they apply in other situations outside of what may look like the stereotypical way to use your gift. Because it's not always going to look, most times it's not going to look like how everybody else is using their gift. And then, like, for me, it's like, I've been learning to be okay with that, but I've also been learning, like, what I am, like, what ways I want to use my gift, like, what ways works for me and stuff like that. And I think that all, goes into knowing yourself, learning yourself, and also just trying new things and stuff.
Yeah. And again, it all goes together. Like, I think we can't. I think we needed the transitional period because, like, without it, you don't get the chance to, like, whatever you went through, whether it's like, hey, I worked at a bank, hey, I did it, I took classes in architecture, but I really wanted to be a stand-up comedian, whatever it is. It's like, like all of it, but not all of it helps, right? Because it's like that person who's like, hey, I was going for architecture, but I wanted to be a comedian. It's like it helped broaden their perspective. Maybe they're looking at things totally different. Or on the flip side, maybe it was a comedian that went into architecture and he's like, hey, like this is for whatever reason. This is just like telling jokes. I have no idea why this makes sense to me, and it's like they discover something new because they went through the roadmap. So whatever it is that like we went through, it all connects and it gives you a different viewpoint. You just be like, oh snap, this is like I see the world like this because this is what happened to me, and trauma, happiness, trauma.
But
joke.
I think that also goes with being okay. Like I said, like being okay with using your gifts differently, because you using comedy for architecture, like, or vice versa, that's not something that people would typically see or typically understand. But if you are solid in knowing who you are and what your goal is and what you're working toward, then whatever you're able to do, because you might be a genius in both fields, but people don't necessarily understand how they go together. But it's okay, like being okay with not explaining everything to everybody, because you don't have to. You are you. But also being okay with, all right, I don't know why this works, but it works, and this is what I like. This is how I like to do it and stuff like that. So it's just, I don't know, the way that everything is connected. I think throughout our lives and throughout the world and stuff like that is very cool, but also I feel like it's very purposeful and intentional in ways that we don't fully understand. But it's what makes each of us unique.
And I feel like confidence is like a major part in knowing yourself and being able to embrace everything that you went through, everything that you learned, to apply it to whatever it is, like in this moment or whatever moment.
Yeah, I feel like without confidence, because I'm realizing like I'm just now really getting the confidence that I thought I would already have.
Me too. Like, I knew it, but it wasn't like an outwardly. Not even trying to be like arrogant or boastful or anything, but it's like it wasn't like an outwardly like I'm here.
Yeah.
Timothy.
Yeah, and learning that and feeling it and appreciating it is very different going into things, and whether it be accepting like things, jobs, tasks, whatever, or it be just doing stuff or working with people. Like, in me knowing who I am and being confident in that person, it's definitely changed my perspective on things, and it's helping me to really hone in on, I guess, what's important to me or what I want things to look like. And I didn't know that I didn't, like, people talk about confidence, but I feel like I didn't know the impact of being outwardly confident, you know.
I feel like you might not be. It might be harder to see it if you've always been like that. So now you're able to see the difference now. Like, okay, when I wasn't as confident, it showed. Like, even when you were singing, that performance. When I tell you, I still be from the jump. Y'all know the words. Sing with me. Not missing a beat. They either singing loud and off key, but they singing. Like, and I'm like, yeah, there we go. There we go. And then the next time after that, even when you messed up, Shakoya, shut them down.
Yeah, it's different. It changes things. It feels different, but it's because like I don't know, being confident in yourself. I don't know. I feel like it's so underrated. Like, I feel like people talk about it, but I feel like it's so underrated because it not only shifts your perspective on the things that you do, it shifts your experience on whatever, like, even if I just messed up, it shifted my experience so that I'm not just harping on what I did wrong, because nobody else knew that I messed up besides y'all two and me. It shifted my experience to be like, to still appreciate that I was able to do well in that moment, that I was able to still get my practice in, that I was able to still, all right, this was a small hiccup, but when I really needed to perform the song at the wedding, I did what I needed to do. So it's just like it shifts your mindset, it shifts your experience, but it also, I don't know, make things a little bit more fun.
Yeah, definitely.
It also shifts everybody else's experience and
in relation to you. Yeah. Yes, definitely.
But I mean, that's because like you're different in the space when you're confident versus when you're not. So like before you may have been like a bystander, now you're an active participant in whatever you're trying to do. So I think confidence is super important, but I also think the reason why like most of us have, like most people get confidence is from like the doing, and it's also from, because I mean there's confidence in who you are, but I think it's confidence in who you are is like the confidence that you have to have when you trust yourself to do what you said you're gonna do.
Yes, that's what it is.
Because until you do what you said you were gonna do, you don't know, and it's like I can't be confident in what I don't know yet, and that's the part that's like when I started understanding that, it's like, oh, okay, like I wasn't as confident because like I don't know, like I have a thought that I might be able to do this, but I don't know, and because I don't know, I'm moving like I don't know. And it's like once I know, and again, when it comes to like knowing yourself, once you know yourself, until you show the shelf that you can do whatever it is you can do, you don't have the confidence in it. So it's like it changes how you operate.
It's just like I don't know, I feel like we talked about this a few podcasts back, I don't know, but like trusting yourself to make the right decision. It's like, I feel like they go hand in hand, because if you keep deeming yourself as like a bad decision maker, or every time you make a decision you're second guessing yourself, rather than just trusting yourself, I feel like it wasn't until I processed it like, okay, you've been making these decisions for 28 years. Like, 28 years, you've made good decisions. Like, you, yeah. Shut up. You older than me. But you've been making good decisions for this long. So why are you still doubting your ability to make a good decision? Same thing with singing. You have been singing for this long. Granted, I needed to start practicing again. Like, I definitely needed to start practicing again. But you've been doing this thing for so long. Why are you still doubting yourself? So even trusting yourself when talking to yourself, to be like, why are you still, like, okay, let's assess. Let's go back in the database. Let's assess what we've been doing. Like, that confidence, it definitely, it changes things. It impacts in a a positive way. In my experience, I don't know about y'all.
I completely agree. It's funny. I learned that like that subtle thing from when I talked to you guys about this all the time. I was playing video games one day, and I was like, I was losing to one of my boys a lot in this one video game, and it used to piss me off because I was like, I never knew exactly what he was going to do, and I couldn't figure out what I was doing wrong. And then I ended up playing a lot more, and then after a while, I ended up playing somebody who was playing the exact same character that he usually plays. So I was like, oh, cool, let me just see. And then once I figured out, all right, how does this work? And I played enough times, it took away some of the like. I didn't have to think about what am I going to do in this scenario? What am I going to do in this? Like, a part of me was able to kind of like muscle memory it out. Mm-hmm. And then the other thing was because I've done it so much, like now I'm having. I don't have to question whether or not, hey, can I land this move? Can I do this thing? Can I blah blah? It's like, nah, all right, cool. I'm just gonna do this. And it's like now I was talking about that earlier. Now I'm watching as opposed to like. I'm sitting there the whole time like, dang, what am I going to do? I got to make sure I do this. I got to make sure I do this. Like, nah, I'm actively in the game. So, like, in the example of you, like, going up and saying the difference before, it might be like, am I going to sing the right? I don't know. I got to make sure I sing the right note. Did I like this part? Did I not like this part? Now you're going up there like, I know y'all know the words, but now you can be active in the environment as opposed to just being internal. Because like now you're fully engaged in whatever's going on. Because hey, I'm singing. I see you like this part. I'm gonna do this part again because I can tell you need to hear this part one more time. And before you would have missed that person entirely. Mm-hmm. So it's like now I think the importance of like having the confidence like lets you be a part of the environment way more, lets you be more in it. And yeah, it's just it all goes hand in hand with you like using your gift. And I think you using your gift gives you more confidence. Because like, why do we do the things that don't bring it like make us feel confident?
It's all a part of the plan. Like what I've recently come to like really realize and understand, understand, was that you have to have a vision for your life. Like if you don't have a vision for your own life, somebody else is going to give you a vision. Like they're going to say, hey, they're going to make you a part of their vision, like for their life. So you essentially, your vision will become growing their vision or making their vision a reality.
Yeah, and I feel like depending on what your own vision is, like that may not be a bad thing, but you should still have your own vision. Like it should still be aligned with, like because
if it's aligned, sorry to cut you off. If it is aligned with what your vision is, now you have like it's like okay, I understand. But if it's just like
you just doing it just because you don't have no vision for yourself, then I mean, and I feel like we as a society, that's just like they don't always, I don't know, I feel like in the US, because I don't live outside of the US, so I don't know how other societies operate, but from a young age, we are from school and all that stuff, we're put in these spaces to work towards somebody else's vision. We're not taught to start thinking about our own visions and stuff like that. So then outside of school, most of our parents have to work and stuff like that. So they may be telling you to, dream big, blah, 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 but may not have the tools to fully help nurture whatever your vision is at that time. So then we start to lose sight of that. And then we start hearing, oh, you gotta get you a good job. You gotta da-da-da-da-da. So then you start losing more sight of like what you wanted to do, what your vision may have been. So then it's just a matter of taking the time to just sit down and think about maybe what is your vision? Is my vision the same that I thought it was in the past? Like, is it something new? Maybe your vision was to work for somebody, but then as you were working for somebody, you decided you didn't want to do that. Like, I think that needs to be normalized.
Thinking for ourselves. That's the most powerful thing that we could do, but also not thinking for yourself is looked at as safe.
And I mean, and sometimes people... And sometimes, I mean, like, if you if you don't want to live outside of your comfort zone and you like the safety and security of working towards somebody else's vision, even if you don't care about it, then I mean that's your prerogative. But also, like if you do want to do other things, I think we also right now it's very trendy to just become an entrepreneur or get all these side hustles and blah 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 versus like versus like actually figuring out what you want to do or maybe trying things out slowly but surely. Like they be like, oh, quit your job, sell everything you have and just do this. And it's like, okay, that may have worked for them, but that might not be what you're supposed to be doing. Like that may not be a part of what your actual vision is. But I don't know, I guess the gradual build to whatever your vision is also an option. So I think that some people, when they get scared by thinking about whatever extra, like other goals and dreams they might have, it's because a lot of it might be attached to the stigma of in order to follow your dreams, you gotta just do something drastic and blah blah blah. When it might not be that type of situation. It might be. But it might not.
The last chapter of the 12-week year, they was talking about shrinking your vision. Well, shrinking the thinking around your vision. Mm-hmm. So if you feel like your vision or whatever you want to do it takes so much to do or is so grandiose that it becomes overwhelming and it leads you to it creates a failure to action.
Yeah, that's actually what I read in Flow. They were talking about when they talking about challenges, how to get into the flow state. Clearly, everything is connected to everything else, but they were saying the reason why you have to have like a task that's just above your, like just out of reach, or like something that challenges you like more than normal, because if it's too big, it's gonna discourage you from even wanting to try. So the example they used was like if it was somebody who's like in like 21, 19 or whatever, if their goal is to do something that's like so astronomical and it's like they can't in themselves imagine it, they're not gonna do it. It'll discourage them. So that's why you need to make sure you have it like where it's like you're stretching, but it's not like a dang, I'll never get like, But I also want to say in regards to the vision, I also think it's important to like know what your vision, because your vision can fall in line with building somebody else's vision.
Right.
As well. Yeah. Like your vision could be like, hey, I want to work at Pixar.
Yeah.
Like that could be, and that could go in, as long as that goes in like with your vision for your life. Like, hey, I'm going to work at Pixar. I'm going to design this character, and it's like if that's what Pixar. If that also aligns with Pixar, then you guys are in this in alignment, and that works perfectly. Yeah. So it doesn't have to be on the entrepreneurial. Like just because you're building your vision doesn't mean that you're building somebody else's vision, doesn't mean that you're not building yours. But I think you should always
have your vision in mind
and put that first, because you guys can.
Yeah. So then you can move purposefully. But I was gonna say, your vision might be to be a virtual assistant,
and that's fine.
And that is okay. But like, just recognizing that this is still operating within your vision is very important. Like,
say your vision is to be a virtual assistant, but if you don't have that vision, somebody could just be like, you operating out of, I gotta pay for this, and this, and you just gonna take the job
and just be like, well, they said you can make money doing this. Good burger, and you might hate it. So like, it's like if you're operating within your vision in whatever capacity you feel like is right for you, then you go ahead and at least try it, because you might try it and be like, oh, this ain't what I thought it was, let me move on to something else. But you could still, or you could pivot, you could shift your vision. Like, it's not,
it's like in my head I imagine like somebody walking, and then like, all right, if the person walking is like, I'm trying to go from here to Texas. Let's just hypothetically, and it's like, all right, if you know you're trying to go from here to Texas, and somebody, and like, let's say the person walking, like, people keep coming over and just slightly pushing them, just keep moving them. It's like, if you don't know where you're going to end up wherever.
Kids.
Yeah, but it's like, but if you know where you're going, it's like, all right, push me. It's like, cool. They pushed me a little too far to the right. Let me go.
Yeah.
Let me take two steps to the other direction. So it's like having the compass, having like the space where you're the aim and focus where you're going, so that when things try to push you, it's like even if it does, because sometimes the push is necessary. Sometimes like I was going this way, but I wasn't gonna get there in the same way that I.
Yeah, it was something in the street.
Yeah, maybe I did need to take a detour. Maybe it was a fast, not a faster route, but maybe this took me to a route that was more beneficial for me. But you still have to know where you going.
Where you're going, yeah. Or even like still using the Texas example, you might be like, all right, my vision is to get to Texas. Either I'm gonna walk. Your thought might be I'm gonna walk at first. And then you look on Google and you see how far Texas is. Then you're like, all right, I'm going to just drive. I'm going to rent a car, I'm going to drive. And then you see how much the rental car is, plus the gas, plus how far Texas is still. And then you be like, all right, I'm going to just fly. And then you fly. Like, it's still a different way of getting there, but you can still get there.
But then even still, right? Again, using your example, let's say you decided to drive. If every time if you're like, I'm going to Texas, and then it's like you're driving, and you're not if you don't keep a clear picture of where you're going, you're driving, and it's like, oh, I just saw somebody on the road. Let me help them. And they're like, hey, can you actually drop me off in Kansas City? And it's like, cool. All right, let me. Boom, and you're doing a whole bunch of side.
Yeah, right.
And it's like
New York.
Yeah, and it's like, but no, you drop him off. You in Kansas City. Somebody else like, yo, I've been needing somebody, and it's like you're driving everywhere else, and it's like you're doing a bunch of side quests. This is a side. All you doing all the side missions. Do the main story.
Right.
That was my life. I feel like that was my life. Once I lost my way, forgot who I was. I'm back.
Yeah, I feel like life is full of a lot of side quests, and sometimes they're beneficial. Like, sometimes you get a prize for doing it. You might level up a little bit for doing it. Your character might get a new outfit, like, might unlock something new. But then there be side missions, side quests that just be like, you just in story mode running around the town because you just didn't want to do nothing today. Like, so, I mean, they can be beneficial, but I feel like life is full of them. We just gotta use our discernment and decide, like, is this what I want to do? Is this worth my time? Will this be beneficial? Or do I just want to do it regardless of whether it'll be beneficial or not? Because sometimes, you just want to do stuff.
Right.
But I mean, that goes back to still having a clear vision. It's like, is this side quest gonna completely derail what I was working toward? You may not know until you start doing it, but you just assess the situation
and embrace your no. If you got a feeling, like
say no.
It's fine, just say no.
But also,
like
if you start trying it out and like you don't like it, just change your mind. Just say no. Like, I mean, be careful, but say no. I don't know what y'all be doing out here.
Get back to the main story.
Right, focus on the main story.
You ain't gotta do every side quest before the story.
Honestly, because that be taking up a lot of time. I learned that the hard way. You don't need to do every side quest. You don't gotta help everybody. Okay? Focus on you. I mean, if you got kids and stuff, then focus on them too. But focus on you.
Not making your kids aside. It's not a kid.
Make them a part of the main story, okay? But yeah, do you guys have any final thoughts on who you want to be when you grow up? What you want to be when you grow up? Your vision. In conclusion, final question before I ask you guys your final thoughts. Is the current you proud of you?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. What? Amazing. That's Lord.
So comment below. My current me is very proud of me. I'll be amazed every day. Like, every day.
You hear this? Are you not entertained? Whoa.
But do you guys have any final thoughts on what we talked about today?
Talked
about a lot of things.
Regardless of vision, it's okay for your vision to change. 9 times out of 10, your vision will change as you grow. But It's essential, it's vital, critical to have a vision so you have an idea where you're going. That's all I got to say.
You?
Get back to that main story. That's all I got for you.
I was too serious. I was too serious.
Get back to that main story.
He you said everything basically.
Yeah, that's what
I was just gonna say, as you are learning and remembering your true self and operating in your gifts, remember to have confidence, remember to trust yourself, and also comment below and let us know if your current self is proud of you or if your past self will be proud of who you are now. Also just comment below to say hi. If you guys have any topic ideas, be sure to email us at thegraeareapodcast@gmail.com. Also, do not forget to like, share, and subscribe. Tell a friend, tell a friend, tell a friend, tell a friend. And if you want to watch this podcast live, if you want to watch our food review show,
Who made this?
or if you miss Breeze's lives and you want to see the Grae Area in the kitchen, cooking, talking, chilling, and you want to see our show,
the rice is done.
if you want to hear that, join the Patreon, okay? For the low price of $3 a month, you can watch our podcast live as well as get other exclusive content by us. It allows us to create more and higher quality content for you more frequently. And with that, I will say thank you for joining us. Thank you for everybody who is already a part of our Patreon and those who will be joining. We appreciate all of you guys, and we just want to grow with you. We just want to continue to grow with you guys. This is only the beginning, but we will see you guys next week. Bye!
Adios.
And the purpose of life is to live. So have fun with this thing called life.
Get on my
Exactly what he said.
Back to that main story.
Push the goddamn button.